Hello everyone and welcome to episode 9 of Arrowhead Junction, a City Skylines collaboration project between Fresh Popcorn, Flux Strands, and yours truly, Streak Toaster. It's been 3 weeks since my last video, and man, the transformation on Zamora it's just something else. It's mind-blowing. The level of detail that both Fresh and Flux have added to some of these neighborhoods is just amazing. I honestly couldn't wait another second to get my hands back on this map. And in today's episode, we're going to be adding even more details to Zamora. Don't worry, it's just going to be a few little touches here and there. But after that, we're going to be traveling far away from Zamora. Actually, we want to start spreading out some of our builds throughout this vast map that we have here. And as I'm sure you can guess from both the title and the thumbnail of this video, yes, we're going to be working on a water reclamation plant, which is something that I've been wanting to do since day one, actually. But we had other priorities because, I mean, what good does it serve to have a massive water treatment plant if you don't have a town to serve it for? So, you know what? Let's just get started right away because I feel like this is going to be a long episode. And let me just show you what I have on my plans to add more details to Zamora. So Fresh has asked me to add, to try to make this truck dealership a little bit more realistic. And to be honest, I actually quite like how it looks, but I feel like it's missing literally 2 assets. At least that's what I have in mind so far. So I got this thing, the wacky inflatable man, which is, I mean, it's a classic. You really can't go wrong. You can't have a dealership without one of these. So since I feel like this is probably like a not super rich kind of operation. I mean, look at the office, right? Like their sales office doesn't look great. I'm guessing they only could afford one. So I'm just going to put it here. And I'm going to use move it so that I can have it look towards the freeway, I think. Oh, that's actually not too bad. I'm going to pause the game real quick. That looks great. Let me go back into this cinematic camera. That looks amazing. All right, cool. So that's saying. Another thing that I wanted to do here is literally add flags. So I'm just going to go flag. And this is, I think, where the magic will happen. So I'm going to put flags pretty much surrounding all of these, the fences around the dealership. I'm going to try to get different flags all the time if I can. Let's try to get this one there. Perfect. And obviously, I'm not going to put them behind the trees because that makes no sense. So you have the French flag there. Basically, all of these flags. Doubtful that these are the brands of the trucks, but I just want to add them so that they look a little bit more colorful. We don't have a Spain flag yet, do we? There we go. No, that's not the Spain flag. I know there's a Spanish flag somewhere here. There we go. That is. Problem is that if they don't want to be. Yeah, that's the problem. Like I cannot have them equidistant between each other because they spawn in like depending on the location. So unfortunately, they will have to be placed like that. But I mean, I'm honestly adding this for the colors for the most part. So I wonder if I do this, can I erase this? I don't think I can erase this. What about this American flag? Something? No, this wants to be these are props for actual buildings. So you know what? I'm just gonna add a few more here, randomly. Whatever color it spawns, unless they're repeated, I'll keep them. But I mean, that already looks pretty much like a proper dealership. I'm really happy with that. One last thing that I think we can add to this construction is a little sign. And if I just search for signs, there's this one with the rotating B that I think I'm going to put here. And it's a bit generic, and I know we used it before on the gas station by, over Zamora Flats. And I know it's pretty generic. I think you can use this for many different applications, even for like food shops and things, and it will look nice. In this case, I just needed a little bit of movement, so here, let me show you. I'm going to turn on the cinematic camera again. And I mean, with the flags and this inflatable man thing, it all comes together much nicely. This now it looks like a proper dealership, at least in my opinion it does. This is actually kind of cool. This little inflatable man, it's actually a tree, and it rocks sideways with the wind to add a bit of movement, because I don't know if you know this, but at the time of this recording at least, custom assets cannot have animations. All these flags are created, and even this rotating sign was created by a colossal order. Right now, I don't think any mod or asset creators can make moving objects. Hopefully that will change soon. But this is all that we can do for now. But overall, I'm pretty happy with how it looks. And now it's time to move away from Samora, and let's head over to the future site of the water treatment plant, or the water reclamation plant, which will live somewhere around here. I want to use this road that Fresh created on episode 2, and I want to continue it going straight and pretty much use that as the backbone of this facility. This over here by Loan, this is Loan, by the way, in case you don't remember. We haven't been here in a while. This is our current water treatment situation. It's really tiny, and it looks really nice. I think Fresh has added a little bit of detail here, but I think we're going to go much bigger. We have this space. And you know what? Let's just get started right away. So I'm going to go back into the edit mode, and I think I'm going to extend this national road all the way over here. Let's actually connect this stretch a little bit further out. And I think this road eventually is going to go over the bridge, over the river on a bridge. And we're not sure yet, but I think we have discussions about where the main city will be. It's likely that it's going to take up sort of this area right here. Obviously, the train tracks will be the backbone of the city, but it might spread or spill over this side of the river, but that's a topic for a future conversation. Now, what I wanted to do is start laying down some dirt roads, because I want to have some separation between the national road and where the pools of water will start. And I think 10 units on each side is actually okay. You see, this facility, or the way I'm thinking about it, is going to have half of its poles on one side and some other facilities on the other side of the road. So there's going to be, I'm thinking there might be a few overpasses so that traffic can flow without having to go into this public road, I guess. So you know what? I'm going to make a quick cut on this video, work on the layout a bit, and be back in just a second. So this is the layout that I came up with. I'm pretty happy with how it looks. However, as I was laying down the roads on this side of the national road, I started thinking that maybe this wasn't such a good idea, to have the facility be on both sides of the road. It will just be weird in terms of having, the perimeter around the facility and all that. So I think I decided to clear a spot here for all of these constructions that this facility needs, like, tanks and the sediment thingies. I can't remember the name. But I'm sure if I look over here, the aeration basins, there you go. That's what I'm looking for, and the active sludge process tank, and so on and so forth. So those elements will probably be around here, and even in other corners as well. I didn't want to keep, these shapes a little bit, not conventional. I didn't want to do a complete grid, even though it's pretty grid-like, as you can see. We have 3 main poles, 3 medium poles, and 6 small pools, I guess you can call them. These 2 right here, you might be wondering why they are at an angle. The reason is because the terrain starts going uphill right about here. You can see that I'm pretty much parallel to where the slope begins. And since we're going to need to elevate these roads in just a second for, to keep the water together. Yes, we're going to use real water for this, in case you were wondering how I'm going to do or fill this huge pools. We're going to need to raise that, and I didn't want to have to terraform this super awesome slope that Flux created. So I wanted to stay away from terraforming as much as I could. Even here, I try to cut around the river, just so that it doesn't, because I could have easily just went straight and flattened everything out, but that wouldn't look super realistic. The water reclamation plant that I'm using as a reference, the one in Lancaster in Southern California, does have some odd shapes to accommodate for a train track that runs on one side, and just the shape in general of the the facility. Now, or I guess the space where they built the facility. Now, one thing that I wanted to do is raise the elevation of some of these roads so that we have enough contention for the water. So I'm going to zoom in here, and I'm going to get rid of that segment like so. And we want to bring this up, and we're going to go into 2 meter increment over there and just use this as a reference. So we're going to get rid of this. And pretty much from now on, we're just going to, create all of these roads elevated 2 meters. And the reason for that is I already tested this off camera, and it works. It's basically enough elevation that it can hold the water without it overflowing. I tried 1 meter, but it does overflow quite a bit. So I'd rather just use 2 meters instead. It's very noticeable. I also don't want to dig down, have the terrain go down. And this plan that I'm using as a reference, actually, if you do the street view, you can see how it's elevated over the terrain instead of being dug under. So that's, I'm trying to stay true to that design as much as I can, obviously. I know it's not going to be perfect, but it would definitely work. So I'm going to keep doing this with basically with all these roads. And I should probably make a cut here and resume in just a second. And after raising all of these roads, it looks, I don't know if you can see, there's little shadows here. There's elevated 2 meters. So basically this will safely contain the water. And next up, what we need to do is pretty much clear all the bushes and start, pretty much adding sources of water. In some areas, I want to even have some textures in the, at the bottom of these pools because, right now they're just grass and dirt, which is fine. They will look okay, but I do want to maybe give it a shot and put some sand in instead, or oil even. So we have a lot of textures that we can play with until we find the right one. Let's clear some of the bushes real quick. So we're just gonna pick any random bush. Actually, we're just gonna increase the size of this, and just by right clicking, we just clear absolutely everything. We're gonna add a few more bushes at the end of this construction. Don't worry about it. But for the time being, just want things to be super clean, super simple. These roads, by the way, I didn't raise them. I kept them the way they are because I think these will be the service roads that will, basically allow the workers of this plant to move about. But this looks pretty good. So the next step will be to actually switch to time-lapse mode and start adding all of the details and elements necessary to bring this construction to life. So we're starting things off by using a little bit of Surface Painter. You're going to see me change textures many times throughout the course of this time lapse. My goal here was to pretty much fill all of the pools, or at least most of the pools. And what I was trying to achieve with Surface Painter is for the water to have different colors. So the water reclamation process takes several steps, I guess. I'm obviously not an expert. I did do some light reading. In case you were wondering, these types of plants are very common in desert areas. And what they do is they pretty much pull in sewage water, and they filter it a couple times through many different processes, which I'm not going to get in detail, mainly because I don't know what those processes are. But what I can tell you is that this water is mostly used for irrigation or to replenish an aquifer. And in my mind, and for the purposes of, the backstory of this construction, this water will be used for irrigation. So all of the vegetation that you're going to see, all the vegetation that you see in Lone, in Zamora, in both Zamora Flats and main Zamora, I guess, plus all the vegetation that you're going to see on, Arrowhead Junction properly, which we haven't built yet, but we're really close to working on that. In fact, it just... at the time of this recording, I already took a quick peek at the future of Arrowhead Junction. So man, it's just I wish that I could say more things, but trust me, it's only gonna get better and better by the episode. I really can't wait to start recording my next take, I guess, on the city. I know I say that a lot. I probably sound like a broken record, but it's true. Anyways, coming back to this project, what you see me doing there is I'm basically putting these water sources. I've been playing this game so long that I don't know if these water sources are part of a mod or if they come vanilla. I'm pretty sure these are vanilla at this point with the landscaping tools, the terraforming tools. There's an option to put water. Actually, I'm not entirely sure about that. Point is, I'm using these water blocks. And like I said before the time lapse, the height of these poles is around 2 meters. I later, and I think I'll probably do that during the time lapse at some point, but I had to raise it another meter because even though the water was somewhat contained, actually it was pretty contained at the 2 meter height level, I was getting, as you can see there, I'm getting like the flood alert, flood icon, because the water kind of glitches. It's not really designed for such a shallow pool, so yeah. I had to raise it a little bit, and that pretty much took care of the flashing alerts, even though they're fine. Like we're really not gonna have any traffic throughout this road. So the fact that they're flooded, it's really not an issue, except the fact that they're wet pretty much the whole time. You would notice that some of these poles have, I was just playing around with the different textures, like I said a moment ago. And what I wanted to do is, have different colors. Have the water be, in this case, like a really limey green. I'm using the fertile brush or grass, I guess, that we put together when we created the theme. It's a very same, brush that I was using for the soccer field, in case you were wondering. But that, gives the water like a sewagey look that I think it turned out really, really nice. And obviously here I'm on top of using Surface Painter to like roughen up the surfaces. I'm using a ton of decals just to, make it a little bit rougher around the edges and have things blend in. The decals are actually amazing tools for blending in the different textures, especially if you're using Surface Painter a lot. So I highly recommend you do check that out and give it a shot in your cities. These culverts, by the way, I really like. I wish that I could have sunken them in the ground. Unfortunately, it's just an asset that you put on top of whatever you had below, so they're not flush against the street level, which would have been amazing if that was the case, but it's really not that big of a deal. If you ever use the Networks Extensions mod and you use this little thin road that I'm using, you notice that there's like a little hump where the curve is, and so the culverts actually kind of somewhat look flush against that little hump. So you probably notice that at the end of this video during the cinematics part of it, but I think it turned out really, really good. The amount of culverts that I had just a second ago was a bit too much, so I decided to reduce it to only 6, if I remember correctly. But yeah, I want to touch a little bit on the kind of detailing that I'm doing right now. All these bushes and vegetation around these pools. I know it's going to be a topic for controversy, but I've actually looked at water reclamation plants in Southern California, more than one actually, not just the one. And it seems to be that the first step of this water reclamation project, and if there's any like, I don't know what kind of engineer will know about this, but if you work in areas like this, if you know how the inner workings of this, please enlighten me in the comment section, because I do want to learn a bit more. But I did notice that many of these have the biggest poles actually just have a lot of vegetation growing around it. It's almost as if they just dumped the water there and it's just sitting for a while. Maybe it's I don't know, just the sediment, or almost, I don't know, the bacteria in the water is just like developing this really rich ecosystem that generates all those bushes. So it's basically like an oasis if you think about it. And I mean, obviously it just looks really, really nice. It's obviously low-level bushes, so it's not super tall trees or anything like that, but it sure does look nice and give a ton of detail to the plant itself as a whole. And obviously those extended pedestrian paths, you can kind of see them on the top right corner there. Those are actually very common. I mean, they're in real life, they're mostly pipes that go into the middle, and most of these pools have like several like drainage systems underwater. First of all, I didn't have the right access for that. Second of all, even if I did, putting those underwater will be completely invisible. So I decided to leave a couple of the pools not filled, which would maybe resemble that a bit. And obviously added a ton of decals. You'll see me detail that in a few moments. I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, but I was just trying to be as true to the original design as much as I could. But right now, I'm just getting focused on getting the actual facility where all the work is actually really done here. And what you saw me do there a moment ago, just putting all those buildings on the other side of the National Road, it's something that I've been doing for quite some time. I actually got this idea from Corrales, where he usually puts all of the buildings he wants to work with on one corner, just so you can see them, because it's way better to see all of those buildings and then use the eyedropper tool to like clone them wherever you want, instead of just navigating menus endlessly. It's much more efficient, and if you haven't done that yet, I highly recommend you give it a shot, because it really makes it that much easier. And at this point, I'm just integrating all these buildings as much as I can, trying to put down roads in between. And obviously, I just realized that we needed some power, so we're extending the power line all the way from the main power line that comes or runs between Lone and Zamora. And over here, I'm just trying to make a bit of a relay station or a substation, just to integrate it and add a bit more detail sort of outside of the plant. I usually like to spend some time tweaking these things, and obviously move it. That mod that you just saw me use there, it's such an amazing tool to plan things and make everything almost like pixel perfect. It has gotten so many updates lately that it's just mind blowing. The level of customization that you can make. Tip of the hat to the mod creator. Seriously, a must have. If you don't, even if your computer cannot run a million different mods, this is one of the mods that I don't think I can play City Skylines without that mod anymore. It just literally ruined the game for me, in a good way, I guess. It just spoiled the game for me, I guess is the right way to put it. Obviously, tons of parking lots, and the ability to select all of them at the same time and just put it in the right location. Again, man, this mod, ridiculous. Really ridiculous. Same thing again, moving every single object just to get it aligned the right way. There's no more excuses when it comes to detailing and just making everything be absolutely perfect. And talking about perfect, these were totally not perfect at the end of the day. They still tend to, like some of these props, when you use prop line tool, they just get, snap to this underlying grid underneath that, this invisible grid, and you get like a little bit of jagged edges. It's easy to just go in and manually tweak them. I do a little of tweaking for the really obviously broken segments of wall, I guess. So I did that, did fix that off camera. In fact, I might have done that during the time lapse, so you might see that. But the point here is, what I'm trying to do is, this obviously is three medium pools, one next to the other, where this one that where I'm currently looking at or working on is obviously under construction, or probably under construction, because you can see the main wall has been built, but the other remaining segments, they have this little concrete bases where the wall would potentially be extended. So I was actually really happy about trying that out, because it's a technique that I used before, and I think I've used that in Cedar Valley way back when I did one of my first construction areas, but I don't think it was that detailed as it is right now. I'm actually almost showing you the before and after picture in the same spot, if that makes any sense, because you can see the finished wall over there and the foundations right next to it. So, it's almost as if the process is just outlighted or highlighted, I guess, in front of you. Man, I just can't English today. You have to apologize. It's 12 a.m. right now. It's midnight, basically over midnight. Been working all day, but I really needed to get this recording done. And this is obviously like take 15 at this point, but I'm pretty happy with it. So I'm probably, if you're hearing this, just know that the other ones were much, much worse. And this one is the good take that I decided to keep. I'm pretty happy so far, even though whatever. I'm getting way off topic here. Now, this is a part that I was really looking forward to working on. It's the perimeter fence, where I'm using the same technique that I use to outline the perimeter of the airport. I don't know if you remember that. I think it was like 3 episodes ago, actually. And this technique was originally... I guess it was originally designed by Fresh Popcorn on episode 2, wherein he built the steam plant, and he did this thing with the pedestrian road around the perimeter and the fence adjacent to it. The reason why I'm doing it this way, first of all, it looks super cool, obviously, but also, since these fences despawn when you zoom out, the pedestrian roads do not. So when you're looking at the plant from far away, as you will see in the cinematics at the end of the episode, you will still see the perimeter of the whole plant, basically the whole footprint of the plant. And let's see, what am I doing here? Oh yeah, I'm just putting another security barrier there. And this is where I go crazy. Laying down all of the pipes that connects the different areas of these of the water treatment plant, or the water reclamation plant. Actually, I should probably call it that, because it's I guess water treatment plant is a more generic term, whereas water reclamation, it's very specific what it is. I guess, I don't know, I'm not sure. I think it is. Let's just leave it at that. In any case, what I'm doing here is just laying down some pipes. I wanted to do a bit of a similar thing. I don't know if you remember, if you watch my nuclear power plant in Cedar Valley, but I did this huge network of pipes that connected different areas of the facility. And I decided to pretty much give it a shot here as well. So we're connecting, the sediment tanks, the water tanks together with the different pools, for the water reclamation. And, you're going to see it in detail at the end when we do the cinematics, but I pretty much wanted to connect every single piece of this facility with pipes. And now over here, we're just adding more and more details, specifically around vegetation. And I know that is a very controversial topic. We've been getting quite a bit of comments saying that we're going a bit too crazy with the vegetation, that is unrealistic. I mean, I don't think so. Otherwise, I wouldn't have done it. This specific row of trees that I'm doing here, it's literally cloned from the water reclamation plant in Lancaster. So I highly encourage you go to Google Maps, search Lancaster water reclamation plant, do a street view, and you'll see a very similar row of trees. And also, the plant itself has a few taller trees, which is what I'm trying to do here. I'm obviously being a lot more conservative when it comes to vegetation now. I mean, the rest of the detailing process will be more around low-level bushes. But I don't think it's unrealistic, just so you know. Otherwise, I wouldn't have not done it. I guess that's what it all comes down to. And obviously, some barrels and some jersey barriers really pretty much give it that industrial look to an otherwise very simple design. And I mean, that area by the corner on the bottom left corner just looks amazing. You'll see again in the cinematics, everything all detailed. And obviously I'm just spending a lot of time here trying to get the edge of the water reclamation plant perfect, because I know Fresh Popcorn is really, really finicky about that. So I just wanted to do him a favor and get the neighborhood name right. We'll see that in a few minutes once we start naming this neighborhood, because I pretty much forgotten about the name of this until later in the recording. And finally, before this time lapse is over, what I'm doing here is these two poles that don't have any water. I just wanted to play around with these decals and just make them look as if they're being patched right now. They're not necessarily under construction, but maybe they're under like some routine maintenance or something like that. And finally, I just wanted to add these custom sheds with and obviously a few more details in the construction area, just to like complete the just add a bit more detail in this empty areas in between the poles. I noticed that some of these water reclamation plants have like little sheds with some pipes coming in and out. In this case, I'm trying to use ducts as a replacement for pipes, because I obviously don't have that many assets that are specific to this. I gotta say, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out, and I think we can now move on. And as we slow things down, just wanted to take a moment to show you in detail, the final result of this water reclamation plant. I say final because, we might come back to this and add more details in the future. I obviously didn't want to overdo it, as I'm sure I said during the commentary that you just heard. I haven't recorded that yet, so I'm going to do my best to not repeat myself. But I know the time lapse goes by really, really fast, and not everything gets caught on camera. So I just wanted to take this opportunity to walk you through the different areas of this treatment plant as we follow this beautiful truck. I mean, I'm really happy with how it turned out. The level of foliage around it's very realistic in my opinion. I've been basing this in looking at many plants across the desert that fit this style of building. Obviously, the main protagonists are the huge poles, and as you can see here, the different shades of color, and how, in my mind, each one of these poles serves a different process in the reclamation of water. I guess that's what happens. Probably this 3 bigger poles with all the all the trees and all the rocks around it are like the first stages where water gets pumped in from the sewage lines, and they just sit here for a while. And since they're exposed to the elements, grass and things start growing because there's so much organic material, I'm guessing. This sheds right here, I put 2 of these with these air ducts. To me, sure, air ducts are kind of out of place here, but in my mind, first of all, they're like industrial elements that if you don't really pay attention, like if you look at it from this distance, they could totally fit in an environment like this. This could even be pipes in here. In my mind, these air ducts are like a ventilation system for like an underground sewage, pipeline or something that goes or runs underneath. Over here, this construction area with the kind of the layout or the blueprints for extending this concrete barriers that will hold the water together. I thought that was a kind of a clever idea, and it's always adding this little construction pillars. I think these are even vanilla. It's a nice addition to constructions, and you can pretend that this is where the wall will be, or where the wall will be extended. Obviously, pipes are here, just laying down on the floor, waiting to be put down in their respective places. Obviously, eventually, this pole is going to become something like this. I even created this connection right here so that this main pipeline, actually serves a purpose. But for the most part, I just love how this turned out. Even these 2 empty poles that are being patched at the moment, with the glitchy water coming from underneath. This, by the way, it's kind of a happy accident. It's obviously overflowing from here because the game is really not designed to hold the water in such a shallow level. But I think together with a shiny decal, I think it's amazing. I think I couldn't have asked for a more perfect outcome. From time to time, though, the water does flow into the other tanks, or at least, just momentarily. Like the water is actually contained here. But you do get the notification from the game telling you that the road is underwater or something like that. Now, these water facilities over here, they're all connected underground. I don't know if you remember that specific part in the time lapse. So we are indeed, actually, let's take a look at that real quick because I haven't done this yet. Let's see. dude, look, water availability and sewage treatment were at full capacity, so this should be good to go for a little while. In fact, I mean, I don't know how big the city of Arrowhead Junction will actually be once we start working on it. And I mean, the place where we're going to be working on this, I really don't know where it's going to be. We haven't, I mean, we had some discussions with Flux and Fresh, but, you know, it's all a mystery for now. I mean, not that I don't want to tell you. It's like literally we haven't decided where we're going to put it. We have some ideas for some major projects that will be on the outskirts of the city, and we probably need to plan those out before we start laying down the roads. In any case, before I continue, there's something that we need to fix, and I want to do that on camera. So I'm going to bring this, basically make it nighttime. I'm also going to pause the game because it will be easier to do things. So this is pretty much what's lit up in terms of our current, lining part of this project. I think I want to keep things super simple. And I've noticed that many of these plans have like a really tall, lining system, and I think I'm just gonna go with something like this, so that I have a few of these airport lights that will lit up the whole place, and that way I don't have to put many smaller ones. And I think I want to put them in very critical spots. So for example, these two poles over here, and this one is kind of lit up, but I think we can have another one right here in the corner. So now this whole area is somewhat lit up. This two right here, I think I'm going to put one in the middle. Why not? That way there's a bit more of a highlight over here. These poles are properly lit up, so I'm not going to change that. And then this might be a bit controversial, but I think I want to have one light right here, in the middle of these Oculus Rift logos. I guess I'm going to call them that because that's what they look like. Are they center? They don't look very center, but we'll tweak that in a moment. And I think they're appropriate. I mean, they serve two purposes in my mind. One being obviously lighting the whole place up, but also it's like an anchor to the floor of these poles. Where I'm sure there's some like piping or some sort of extraction equipment or something, or filters even, that need to be regularly checked. And we might need a few more over here, so I'm just gonna put it in several key spots. So like for example there, I think that works. Actually, you know what? We can try one of these diagonal ones with the... No, this ones are like a bit too improvised. Never mind. So let's just put one diagonally. It lights up the place or the corner enough that we don't need any other lights on any other corners. And let's just follow this road. I think, yeah, there's one here. This one will be yellow. Basically, the least important ones will be yellowish, I'm thinking. And let's go to the final shed. And in this case, we're just going to do the same. Something like that. Now, I don't think I'm going to lit up this place at night, maybe, unless... I honestly don't know. This feels like a bit too much for this. Even though it's kind of like construction-y. But I wonder if there's some more like a temporary light that we can use. But I feel like these are all like pretty final. Unless, I mean, this one is probably the most temporary looking light that we have. But honestly, I mean, I highly doubt that people will work here at night. So I'm just going to keep it simple and not have that. Now, let's keep adding a few more lights. For example, right here by the entrance of this path, just for security purposes, or safety actually, more than security. You know what, looking at this at night, I think we need just one tiny light, and it all will look amazing. And I think I'm going to put another one right here. Reason why, it's because if you look at it from above, you can clearly see the path that connects all these different important points of the water reclamation plant. So also, by the way, we need to change this to water reclamation plant. I'm sure you were about, oh, it doesn't fit. That's great. That's awesome. So I guess now the name is AJ Water Reclamation Plant, because otherwise it doesn't fit. It's a pretty long name for a reclamation plant, but yeah, you know, these are the limits of the game. And with that, unfortunately, I have to also put a limit to this video because I'm running out of time. I wish that I had a little bit more time to build a couple more things that I had, that I had ideas for, but I had a crazy week getting this episode out. And I need to send this save game to Flux right away because he starts recording tomorrow, and otherwise we'll just delay the whole thing. And this is pretty much how it works, unfortunately. But if you enjoyed this episode, I highly encourage you to go click the like button. That's very, very much appreciated. And also, if you're new to my channel, if you have no idea what I do, I also play my own series for City Skylines. I pay pretty much the same level of detail and attention that I did to this one. So if you're into that, I highly encourage you to go check it out and also subscribe to my channel. That way you're notified next time I put out a video. There's a link in the description in case you might have missed an episode. I know we have this odd format where one video is released on each channel, so if you, for some reason, lost track of the series and you want to catch up, there's that link in the description. Check out the full playlist. Next episode will be on Flux's channel, so make sure to be subscribed to him, youtube.com/FluxTrends. That will be a week from now. The week after will be on Fresh Popcorn's channel, youtube.com/FreshPopcorn. All of those links are in the description. My next video will be in 3 weeks, and I can't wait for that to happen because I really want to get back to some of these ideas that I was having, but at the same time, I just can't wait to see what Flux and Fresh come up with. Oh man, every time I get the segment, it's just like I feel like a kid in a candy store. But that's it. That's all I have to say for now. I want to thank you all for watching. I really hope to see you in the next one.